Good evening. This is a call to order for the February 9th, 2026 City of Canal Winchester Planning and Zoning meeting. Mr. Deeds, roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Mr. Wildenthaler.
Here.
Mr. Donahue.
Present.
Ms. McDonald.
Here.
Mr. Deeds here. And Mr. Paulsgrove.
Here.
Motion to excuse Ms. Gooden.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. McDonald, second by Mr. Wildenthaler. Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Wildenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Deeds. Yes. And Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
All right, now I'll need approval, please, for our January 12th, 2026 meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paulsgrove, second by Ms. McDonald. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie.
Abstain.
Mr. Wildenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Deeds, yes.
All right, now it's time for public comment for any items that are not on our agenda. So if there's anybody here this evening from the public that wishes to speak to a non-agenda item, now would be the time. All right, if you're going to speak with us this evening, would you rise if you're able and raise your right hand and take an oath? So if there's any chance you'll be speaking to the commission this evening. All right, do you swear to be truthful in the testimony you give and tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Moore for our first application this evening.
The first application on tonight's agenda is variance 26001. The request this evening is a variance from chapter 1185.05A to increase the maximum 25-foot width for an access drive on the subject parcel. Up on the screen, the parcel bounded in the light blue box is approximately 23.67 acres on the east side of Bowen Road. This property is zoned limited manufacturing. It was zoned with ordinance 24-019 in 2024. The applicant is seeking approval to develop a speculative industrial building on the subject parcel totaling 210,000 square feet. The plan for the site extends Robinette Way plus or minus 120 feet to become the primary access to the site. That primary access circled in red is proposed to be 30 feet wide. This 30-foot wide access drive is designed to be the extension off of Robinette Way to accommodate truck traffic. When looking at the site plan, a secondary access drive is proposed off of Bowen Road, located here, which is proposed to be 25 feet wide. With ordinance 24-019, which approved the rezoning, City Council limited all access drives from this private site to Bowen Road to be a maximum of 25 feet in width. This ordinance was done to help control what direction truck traffic is being routed to and around the site. You can see that on the proposed site plan. Everything that is the darker gray infill is all the truck routing at 30 feet wide. As you get into this kind of peppered gray area around the building, these access drives are at 25 feet wide. The variance itself is consistent with this access drive to the applicant's prior phases with the Robinette Way extension on the south side of the road, just to the east. The applicant has designed this site again for a safer truck routing for Robinette Way access only. With that kind of concept in mind, staff is going to be pursuing addressing this site a Robinette Way address. That way truck routing is going through Robinette Way to get to the subject parcel rather than trying to use Bowen Road for its primary access. When looking at special circumstances and conditions, again, this variance request is very common for these large industrial users to have access drives wider than 25 feet to allow for the truck routing for full-size semi-trucks, and that granting this variance would increase the public health, safety, and convenience by allowing the wider truck access and routing internal to the site. As the staff is recommending VA 26001 be approved as presented. Again, the site plan has been designed for truck traffic to exclusively use Robinette Way for access connection and does not create any traffic conflicts for the general traveling public on Bowen Road. The next application, I'll be going into the full site plan details. This variance is just on the wider access drive off of Robinette.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Just real quick, we've done a few of these. When we redo the zoning code, will there be something in here so we don't have to provide variances for 30-foot truck? Okay.
Yeah, we are specifically looking at different access drive widths based off of use, and that use will be really based off of the types of vehicles that'll be accessing those drives.
Good, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? Anything the applicant wishes to add on this particular agenda item? Okay. So I will, since it's a variance, I'll open it up for public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, seeing none, I'll move we close.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Ms. McDonald. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Dees, yes.
Do we have a motion?
Sure, Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to motion that we approve variance VA-26-001 as presented by staff.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Dees, yes.
All right, so VA 26-001 has been approved.
The next application for tonight's agenda is the site development plan for the same subject parcel to develop a 210,748 square foot speculative industrial building. The subject property, current conditions report is up on the screen. Again, it is approximately 23.67 acres. It is primarily filtered from the Canal Point Industry and Commerce Park to the east. To the south of the subject property is existing agricultural uses. To the north of the property are large lot residential homes. And then on the west side of Bowen Road are some larger lot residential homes, including some agricultural uses as well. When looking at the site plan again for the subject property, the applicant is proposing 238 parking stalls on the property, which is in excess of the 211 minimum required for the site. When looking at the access, again, as noted, the primary access will be from Robinette Way. Secondary access into the site will be from Bowen Road. When looking at the variance approvals and the ordinance 24-019, again, the access from Bowen Road is limited to 25 feet in width. The applicant is showing the vehicular storage for the employee traffic on the west side of the building, the truck courts and truck trailer storage on the east side of the building. When looking at the pathways and connection into the site, I apologize, it's a little hard to see at this scale, but they are showing a 5-foot sidewalk going down the stretch of Bowen Road, terminating at this approximate location on the site to the frontage of the building. Sidewalks are proposed to be extended on Robinette Way. One will wrap the south side of the access drive leading to the front of the building. When looking at the sidewalk connectivity, this graphic is showing this red area. There is a sidewalk connection that is just not being completed along the front of the site, with the applicant stopping the sidewalk short of their southern property line. Staff is recommending that this connection be made in lieu of that to provide a connection routing back through the industrial park. In addition to the sidewalk network, the applicant is showing a proposed 70-foot right-of-way dedication for the future construction of Robinette Way. Robinette Way will be extended by the city in the future, but there is currently no defined timeline for this. However, with the grading of the area and the only the right-of-ways being dedicated, staff is also going to be requesting for a general construction easement for roadway grading and just constructability, as well as extending utilities all the way to Bone Road. The general location staff is recommending for that easement is from the center line of Bush Ditch to the southern property line, just to give ample room to extend the utilities and roadway, and also working around the floodplain that's within that area. When looking at the utility extensions to the site, the applicant is proposing to extend the sanitary public sewer north from the existing lift station. This sewer trunk will be stubbed to the Smith Farm to the north, which serves a much greater tributary area. But the applicant will be tying their building directly off of it to the west. When looking at the water connection, there is existing public water along Bone Road that the applicant would be tapping their domestic and fire access into. Again, just when looking at this general construction easement for constructability in the future, some utility extensions will likely be necessary to be north of the road towards Bone Road, so that's why the easement was a little larger on the north side than the southern side. When looking at the proposed landscape plan, the applicant is proposing that a total of 17 trees will be removed from the site for the construction of this project. With our tree schedule, 24 trees at 2.5-inch calipers need to be planted to meet this replacement. For the size of the building and the number of parking stalls being constructed, the applicant needs to plant 100 additional trees at 2-inch caliper on the site. The applicant's plans are showing 124 trees at the appropriate calipers for the landscape code. However, the Chapter 1191.04G sets a maximum tree genus at 15%. Just looking at the plans here, there are 40 black maples here, 15 black maples here. The maximum for 15% is being exceeded in this table. So staff is requesting that the applicant update that. That could be done administratively during our tech review process, but again, just noting the deficiency here. When looking at ordinance 24-019, which approved the rezoning, one of the other conditions from City Council was to require mounding on the northern property line to screen the site from the adjacent property owners of residential uses. That mound needed to be an average of 4 feet in height. When looking at their mounding exhibit here, it does get up to the 4-foot average in height across the majority of the northern property line. However, the corner here, which has the residential home basically where my mouse is, just north of these existing stand of trees, has the shortest portion of the mounding directly adjacent to their home. If I just go back for frame of reference here, this is the house, and this with the address here. They have a garage back here, so their mounding is actually screening from the back of the garage east, not the house in the front. So staff is recommending that mounding at 4 foot in height be extended to wrap this front corner of the site to provide appropriate screening per that ordinance condition. When looking at the lighting plan, the applicant is proposing to install parking lot lighting at 27-foot tall poles on 3-foot concrete foundations arranged at the site. The photometric plan is showing no light spillover outside of the property. However, due to other concerns for industrial sites and their impact on adjacent residential land uses, the staff is recommending that the parking lot lighting needs to be designed to not have have less visibility from surrounding residential land uses. When looking through the applicant's package for the submittal, they do note the manufacturer has external glare shields and house side shields as part of their shield accessories that weren't selected in the application. So staff is recommending that the applicant provides those on the entire north, which is just these two fixtures, and the west side of the building, which would be all of these fixtures on the west side to have additional screening from their adjacent residential land uses. When looking at the elevations of the building here, again, this is a 200,000 square foot facility. The building is going to be proposed out of precast concrete panels. The architectural design is similar to phases 1 and 2 on the south side of Robinette Way that the applicant built several years ago. The applicant does have a note in here just based off of recent tenant demands for privacy screening inside of the building to have frosted glazing on the glass components. They are requesting that now from the Planning and Zoning Commission for all of the glazing except for these high bay windows. That way they have the ability to install it based off of tenant demand, but that way they don't have to come back in the future to ask for it if Planning and Zoning Commission is already aware that they are looking for that in the future. When looking at the architectural renderings put together by the applicant, this building in the front is the conceptual rendering for what's proposed to be constructed. In the back are the 2 existing buildings, and these are actual photos of the existing site context for comparison here. Again, Robinette Way stub is about where my mouse is here. Future connectivity will be within this area to the south. And then just another rendering here showing some of the front entry features and architectural detail on the front of the building. The applicant has not submitted any signage for review at this time. Staff is recommending that Site Development Plan 26001 be approved with the following 5 conditions. That the sidewalk stub heading south on Bowen Road connects to the sidewalk path on the south side of the access drive on the site. The applicant grants the City of Canal Winchester a construction easement and general utility easement from the center line of Butch Ditch to the south property line for the future Robinette Way extension. The applicant modifies the landscape plan to be in compliance with Chapter 1191.04G. That the 4-foot mound on the north side of the site wraps the northwest corner of the parking lot to provide appropriate screening to the adjacent residential home. And that the external glare shields are provided on parking lot fixtures on the north and west side of the proposed building.
Thank you. Questions or comments for staff? And
And the applicant does have a presentation they sent me.
Okay.
Chairman, if you want them to
Okay.
present that as well.
do you have, so I have a question. Do you have the glass frosting? Where is that in?
So there is a note right here
Okay.
on the screen.
Okay.
The frosting, which is spec'd in here, is the same frosting that was approved back in December by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So it's not, it's part of the application, it's not a specific condition staff is?
No, the applicant is asking for every window
Okay.
to have the ability to be frosted in the future. The only windows that are not marked to be frosted are these high bay windows.
Okay, thank you.
But the storefronts and any of the office window punch-outs are all kind of dimpled on the plans to be frosted.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay. Anything the applicant wishes to add? Anything that staff hasn't covered? You're free to add anything from a presentation standpoint or any comments that you wish to add? If you could come up so we can capture it on the minutes, thank you. If you could just state your name and sign in.
Kevin Mahoney with Moto Properties. I've got a brief presentation if you want. I can skip that too and just answer questions. I kept it brief though, so.
Yeah.
Any issues with the staff's conditions?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think staff did a pretty good job of kind of.
I'm happy to skip it.
Articulating what's being done here. So you're okay with all 5 conditions, and that was my only question I had, so.
No issues. Yep.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
So this is a site development plan, so there's no public comment, public hearing, so we'll just need a motion.
So just real quick, Andrew, what's from the lot line, it looks like the building's 60 to 70 foot away from it?
Which lot line?
From the neighboring,
To the north?
yes, the house that you mentioned, that the landscaping and,
Well, now you got me doing actual work here.
yeah, I was kind of doing some.
30
pencil
30-foot
map.
road.
There's 20-foot, 25-foot drive, and it's 25, 50. So
On the site plan, it should be dimensioned with the exhibits.
You're probably 70 foot.
Go to page 40. Correct, page 40.
How far is the library from the house next door?
Go up to page 39.
Does the applicant have an idea? Just curious.
There's a dash line on the site plan that shows the access drive's 25 feet, and then north of that, an additional at least 15 feet is another 20 foot, so 20, 40, 50, 60 to 70 feet.
Okay, that's kind of what I was guessing too. And how tall's the building?
The building is shown to be, the average height, I believe, is 40 feet, but they have a taller parapet on the front of the building to screen rooftop mechanical units, which is shown to be 46 feet. The back of the building, which is the lowest elevation, is 37 feet and some change.
Any other questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve SDP 26-001, including the 5 conditions listed from staff.
Second.
All right, so motion made by Ms. McDonald, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove?
Yes.
And Mr. Dees, yes.
Okay, so SDP 26-001 has been approved.
The last application on tonight's agenda is zoning map amendment 26-001. The address of the subject property is 6270 Bowen Road. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from general commercial to limited manufacturing. The subject parcel, which I've highlighted in blue on the screen, is a combination of 2 parcels that approximate 9.27 acres on the northeast corner of Bowen Road and US 33. The properties to the east beyond this kind of wooded lot here is the Canal Point Industrial Park, and that was just referenced in the last application. To the north is an agricultural horse barn and arena area. Directly to the west is a commercial gas station, and then on the south side of the street is a commercial daycare and some residential lots. With this application, the applicant is proposing that both parcels of the subject property be rezoned to limited manufacturing. The main parcel is 8.69 acres and consists of the main structure, which was initially developed as a car dealership, just beyond this label here. And then the annex building to the rear of the site, which is a sales office for the car dealership. The secondary parcel, this triangular piece in the corner, is a portion of the parking lot, which is just over half an acre. The current conditions of the site are up on the screen. This is an aerial from 2025, I believe in December. It's a little more updated than my zoning map, so I wanted to put that into perspective for the Planning and Zoning Commission. For frame of reference, this front, I guess we'll call it the first third of the site, was recently approved in December of 2025 with a conditional use for Oxford Automotive, the auto repair company, to operate in this front half of the space. They are taking a little over 2/3 of the building, while the landlord is retaining around 5,000 to 7,000 square feet to the back. The applicant this evening is occupying this larger flag portion of the lot. Currently, they are going through the process to rezone the property to limited manufacturing. The applicant, New River Electric Corporation, is currently utilizing the space without any occupancy certificates from the city. They were sent a notice from our law director notifying them that they had to apply for the zoning change to be an authorized use for the subject parcel before they could move forward with any occupancy certificates. So with coordination from the property owner, they are here this evening to start that next chapter to get towards compliance. When looking at the criteria for a zoning map amendment, the first is that all zoning activities must be compatible with the proposed adjacent land uses, adjacent zoning, and appropriate plans for the area not included or limited to the comprehensive plan. The proposed zoning map amendment is compatible from staff's review to adjacent land uses and plans for the area. The 2023 community plan shows the majority of the properties within this corridor are being zoned for future industrial use with the active redevelopment of properties along Bowen Road. The immediate, skipping ahead here, the future land use plan, which is adopted in 2023 by the city, did show that this property was contemplated to be remained as commercial. However, plans are always changing, facts and background data is always being modified. Since this plan was completed, there has been some uncertainty with the long-term access on US 33 and Bowen Road with ODOT. ODOT has communicated they're evaluating closing this intersection, which from staff's review changes the appropriateness of this commercial land use when it could be more suited to tie into the industrial park, which has primary access from Diley Road, and then with this community plan efforts, we'll have contiguous access to Gender Road. When looking at the relationship of the proposed amendment to traffic flow, utility services, utilities, and other items outlined in our transportation thoroughfare plan, access to and around the site is not proposed to be modified at this time by the applicant to facilitate the rezoning. The access currently exists with two drives, one in the north end of the site, northwest end of the site, and one on the southwest end of the site. In talking to both Oxford Automotive, that's going to be operating in the front, and New River Electric in the back, as well as the property owner, these access drives will be separated by the two users, and the property owner has also indicated the likelihood of doing lot splits to create two different pieces of property in the future to solidify the areas for Oxford Automotive and New River Electric. When looking at utilities to the subject site, there is sanitary sewer along Bowen Road that leads to the main building. Currently has sanitary sewer service. With any future occupancy for this space, sanitary sewer service will be required, but it is available to the subject parcel. When looking at the relationship of the proposed amendment to the public health, safety, convenience, comfort, prosperity, and general welfare, including impact on infrastructure and municipal services, the proposed zoning amendment to limited manufacturing in itself would not have any negative impacts to the public health, safety, convenience, comfort, prosperity, or general welfare. All site plans and layouts for users for the LM zoning district and all zoning districts would be required to follow the standards listed in those zoning district categories. And then the relationship of the proposed use to the adequacy of available services to the general expansion plans and planned capital improvements would not have any impact with this site. Again, the property currently has access to water and sewer. Canal Winchester does not have any capital improvements that would impact the existing services provided to this site. So when looking at the applicant's application here, they do note that New River Electric is looking to occupy the land and the buildings for the operation on the proposed parcel, that they are a electrical systems contracting operation, and that they confirm that the limited manufacturing zoning district is the appropriate zoning district for their use. And then the applicant does note that when they are going to be submitting for some occupancy certificates, they do have some outdoor storage components that they are going to be including in that submittal. They are, at least at the time of this submittal, did not have any defined lease areas that defined their leasable boundaries to be included. However, I think that's the conversation I had with the applicant afterwards about doing some lot splits to clean up the definable lease areas. The applicant has noted that they currently do not have any plans to do any improvements on the subject parcel, but that they do have negotiations on purchasing the property in the future from the property owner when their lease expires, and that any site improvements will depend at that time in the future. So the site plan the applicant put together based off of our criteria for the application. Again, this is roughly how they've denoted the leasable split from what they are taking at this flag end of the lot to the front tenant. They have laid out currently how they have the site laid out just for Planning and Zoning Commission's review. Again, I think the aerial I picked up is pretty reflective of the graphic they put together. Staff does note that, again, the applicant is seeking to rezone the subject parcel to limited manufacturing. This rezoning request is being filed by the applicant, who is in control of the annex building to the rear half of the subject parcel. The applicant was notified, again, by the city that their use as an electrical contractor is non-conforming under the current commercial zoning district, and the property would need to be recategorized to a district to where their use is permitted to continue. The applicant is filing to this rezoning application is the first step into bringing the site towards code compliance, and that a site development plan or occupancy certificate would immediately follow the rezoning of the subject parcel. But again, there is an existing tenant that is taking the front half of this building. We're currently in the process of filing the paperwork to do so. They received approval in December from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And the change from this zoning district from general commercial to limited manufacturing does not affect the adjacent tenant for the automobile repair and service, because it is also a conditional use in the LM zoning district. Staff is recommending the applicant's request to rezone the property from GC to LM be approved as presented. This rezoning supports the long-term viability of the subject property and supports redevelopment opportunities on the site. This zoning change does not grant the applicant occupancy or validate any zoning code compliance with their existing operations on the property. Again, it is the first step to get them towards compliance to operate in the subject property. So if any specific questions about the rezoning component of this, I'd be glad to help answer.
Thank you. I think you explained it very well, and thanks for answering the question around the conditional use that we previously approved as it relates to both zoning criteria. Any questions for staff or comments?
Maybe clarification, Andrew, the map and what the subsequent pictures showed the small half-acre parcel actually going on the other side of 33? Was that just
This right here, or in the applicant's submittal?
in the applicant's packet, some of the pictures, it looked like the parcel, which I didn't zoom in close enough to see what the parcel number, but it looked like the parcel number actually spans 33. It goes to the south.
When I pulled up the parcel data from the Franklin County Auditor's Office, there is a defined parcel line that moves in this location. That parcel likely in the past did go to like the center line of old US 33. So it could just be a representation of like an old highway easement that was picked up with the plans. But the auditor's website does list that parcel as being the 0.58 acres, I believe I noted in my staff report. One of the difficult things, I guess, in like the submittal was that their legal description did not include a plat map that showed where everything was, and it didn't really have stuff broken down by acreage, so I had to go to the auditor's website to pull all that data for your review.
If you go to page 87 of the packet, that's probably the image that looks like it actually spans 33. So it just might have been a visual up, so I trust you. It does have different numbers, so, okay.
I have a couple questions. Would the applicant be required to combine those two parcels into one?
At this time, they would not, but if they were going to be doing any lot splits to create a separate parcel and to create what I'm going to call a flag lot in the back, staff would ask that they clean that up to make that one entire parcel for this piece here.
Okay. So if we rezone this and recommend the rezoning, what would be the requirements for screening any of the outdoor storage from US 33?
So our limited manufacturing zoning district has screening requirements from all public right-of-ways and adjacent parcels with residential zoning. Up on the screen, the property directly to the east and north is zoned residential. To the south is public right-of-way. So the applicant would be required to meet all screening standards within our limited manufacturing zoning district, as well as all other applicable standards for changing operations in the subject parcel.
Okay, and that would come when they apply for their occupancy or the right to actually operate?
Yeah, they would apply for their occupancy. As part of that, we would ask for a site plan showing compliance with all sections of the zoning code district. And that's when we would take a look at basically all of the factors for what this needs to be updated to meet the limited manufacturing zoning district.
Okay, and then because both occupants on this property are leasing it from the owner, would the owner be responsible for those upgrades or the tenants that are leasing the property?
That would be between the owner and the tenant.
Okay,
But the occupancies and the zoning district's tied to the property owner.
I got you, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Would this be a recommendation to city council for adoption?
Yes, this would be a recommendation to city council.
Okay. Is the applicant present? Is there anything you wish to add?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Majid Makhlouf, legal counsel to the applicant. Not much to add. I do this kind of work all over the state, and I have to say this city is blessed with the level of thoroughness that you get from staff, and there's not much left for me to say. He did an excellent job. The two things that I just wanted to highlight, number one is I wanted to apologize to the commission, to the city. This was not somebody intentionally trying to not follow the zoning requirements. This is a very reputable operator that does this on a national level. This happened with the quickness of it and local staff working and the central office not coordinating everything. So I think that was a mistake, and immediately we wanted to rectify it as soon as possible. So we apologize for that. That's not how we do business. And number two is we just wanted to confirm that the rezoning has, and I think Mr. Moore has said it, that the rezoning would have no impact on the uses, the other uses that the property owner has on the site. I think that's our understanding, and that, confirming that the city and the property owner are on the same page on that. With that, I couldn't do any better job. We're happy to answer any questions. I have a representative from the tenant with me, and obviously the property owner if the commission has any questions for us.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay. So this is a zoning map amendment request change, so I'll open it up for public hearing.
Seeing no rush to the mic, I move we close.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Paulsgrove. Roll call.
All right, Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Deeds, yes.
And again, this would be a recommendation to city council for their review and adoption.
Mr. Chairman, move we make a recommendation to City Council for ZM-26-001.
Second.
All right, motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Wildenthaler. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Deeds, yes.
All right, so ZM 26-001 has been recommended to city council for adoption, and Mr. Moore, Mr. Hare, that will be done, and I would imagine at the next council meeting scheduled for, would that be next week?
Yeah, they're in on Monday, scheduled a public hearing. I believe I gave the timeline to the applicant that they're, at the end of their 30 days, or their 3 reads in 30 days, it'll be around May when the zoning would go into effect.
Okay, thank you. All right, any old or new business?
For old business, I just wanted to touch on that the consultants working on the zoning code update do have a draft for Module 1 they're preparing to send out to the steering committee. I believe they wanted that draft scheduled for the end of the month. I think it was supposed to be within the next couple of weeks. They're supposed to send it to staff to look at prior to sending it to you guys to make sure there's no last minute hiccups in it. But I believe they, a week and a half ago, were wanting to schedule it within 2 weeks, so it should be, I'm assuming, sometime coming up.
And we
All
will
things on
have
track.
how long to review it?
I think 2 or
20
3
minutes.
weeks.
You can speed read, I cannot.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, great.
It's not the whole code, just the month.
I know.
It's like 36,000 words.
Oh, piece of cake.
Summarizes.
10 minutes.
But so that is coming forward. We also are working with them to get 2 more modules out for our second draft review, to hopefully get those in front of you guys within the next, month following the first one. So we're trying to pick up some speed here. Again, all things staying positive. With this old new business section, the only thing I really wanted to mention for your consideration is if you guys know anybody that wants to serve on the Landmarks Commission, please have them apply by the end of the week. We are down 1 member. We made a recommendation to City Council, which they denied. So we are looking to fill the 7th member seat. Qualifications, they have to be a resident. That's the feedback I got, was residency status is the only thing that's valid to their appointment.
Okay.
So we've had 3 or 4 people apply, but we're still encouraging, people to let others know that are interested in the Old Town District specifically. It's a very tough job because you are nitpicking everybody, and no one likes you, just because you're nitpicking everybody. So
What's
if
new?
you know someone that is really opinionated and loves to give their opinion, that's who I want to apply.
Okay.
So
I have one last thing, is the sign when you come into town, westbound Waterloo Street, that has it's a yellow sign that just says minimum speeding fine 100 and whatever it is, $12, is that still relevant?
Yes.
That number is accurate and that sign is legally still relevant to be there?
I believe so, yes.
Could staff just please look at that and confirm that?
Did you get a ticket though?
No, not at all. It's just, it's ugly, makes no sense, it has, in my opinion, it has no relevance there.
It says
And
welcome to
compared to where we have other signage that's
You mean,
directional.
is it needed?
Yeah, is it
Right
needed?
out here.
Right here, yeah,
That,
is
that
that,
sign is not statutorily mandated to be there.
Right.
It was put up by prior administration to discourage speeding. Right
Because
downtown.
based on resident complaints that live on that stretch of the street, but that is our corporate limit. We don't control the rest of Hill Road going out there,
Yeah.
that's all in the county.
yeah, I'm just asking specifically to that sign if it's still
Yeah, so
relevant.
We have
and-
the flashing speed sign there too.
Yeah,
Should we replace it with a speed bump?
I just, you know,
No bumps.
or a speed limit sign, and on the same street.
limit anyway.
On the same street, 4 houses down, there's a very small speed limit sign that's tacked to a telephone pole. So I'm just trying to figure out, can we put the speed limit 25 sign back where the minimum speeding fine threatening sign is, and put a speed limit 25 sign there that makes sense because you're coming in, you're in a 25-mile-an-hour zone there versus a threat of a minimum speeding fine and then a very small speed limit 25 sign 75 yards down, going the same direction.
Yeah, the speed limit sign, the flashing speed limit sign is at the corporate limits.
Right, I
The
know.
one further
But-
down is not a public sign.
It's some
Okay.
resident upon themselves to put it in their yard.
Okay.
Also remind people to slow
Yeah,
down
I
because we
get it.
get so many complaints because a lot of people back out of their driveways on that stretch of
Yeah.
roadway. And they're very concerned about people going 32 miles an hour instead of 25.
Okay. Yeah,
We did a speed study and it's, the 85th percentile speed is not much more than 25 miles per hour.
yeah, and I agree that speed is probably an issue there and fully support the residents' needs to have additional signing. I'm just wondering, is there a better way to document a legal speed limit there?
I will bring it up to Mr. Starcher.
Thank you.
It might be a good place for like an island, right? With the way we've been doing some of the island for the calming and the,
Yeah, right in front of my driveway, I can't get my trailer out of now.
I will say, every time I drive in, it kind of smart because nothing says welcome to Canal Winchester like.
Yeah, minimum speed.
Minimum speed, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had for new business. Any other older new business?
Just a quick question. So, I work out at NIFCO and there aren't sidewalks in front of it. We actually had someone was on a scooter or something like that was out in the street and ended up getting injured because there wasn't a sidewalk. So is there plans to continue sidewalks? Because we made these people put in a lot of sidewalk and I didn't know if there was.
Yeah,
A
there
program
are
or-
plans to try to fill gaps. The concentration has been on Howell Parkway rather than Dove Parkway because we have much more sidewalk on Howell and there's not as many grading challenges that we have. There's a lot of grading issues on Dove, putting the sidewalks in there just because of slope. So we're going to be talking about either getting much wider easements for construction or to have removal of landscaping was required to be put in for screening or putting in retaining walls. Those are all, they just add a lot of cost and complexity to doing that, so.
I just, since we have two of the properties, I do believe there's heightened awareness, so there might be interest in having
One of the
conversations.
properties has sidewalks.
I think the newer one does, yeah. So, but a lot of people like to walk between the sites at lunchtime, et cetera, and so.
Tell them to use the back drive.
We do, but
Feel free, they can submit a very simple administrative application to me to install a sidewalk along the front, and we'll review it for NIFCO.
okay.
But yes, there's plans to try to fill in gaps, but like I said, the focus has been on Howell right now, to get back to the park and to connect to the new Kroger store there and all that, so there'll be some more gap filling down.
Okay.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn?
Motion to approve to adjourn.
Second, I approve adjournment too.
All right, motion by Ms. McDonald, second by Mr. Deeds, roll call.
All right, Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Palsgrove.
Yes.
And Mr. Dees, yes.
Timeout 7:49 PM.
Well, I heard a